What's going on, Flix Talkers? Welcome back to another movie review, this time for the Netflix film The Trial of the Chicago 7, which did come out on October 16th, 2020. It is rated R and it has a runtime of 2 hours and 9 minutes. Now, this film is directed and written by Aaron Sorkin, who also did writing on A Few Good Men and directed Molly's Game. And the quick synopsis for The Trial of the Chicago 7 is: the story of 7 people on trial stemming from various charges surrounding the uprising at the 1968 Democratic National Convention in Chicago, Illinois. Alright guys, now there's a huge cast to unpack, but before I get into all of that, make sure you guys are hitting that thumbs up if you guys do like movie reviews as well as movie news content that I do have throughout the week on my page, as well as live stream content as well. And just a heads up, I do have a new merch store, so that's the best way that you can support the channel. It's down in the description below, guys, and make sure to hit that subscribe and bell notification to always be notified about videos like this. Alright guys, so like I said, there is a large cast to kind of unpack, so I'll throw them up on screen right here, but I will be talking about some of those cast members that were more notable and stood out in my mind throughout this over 2-hour film. So I'll go over my pros, my cons of the film, because I usually don't watch films like this, but I know they do have certain demographics, and the story itself, before I get into everything, was amazing, and I do love the fact that these movies that are pulled from actual events that did happen in the 60s. So let's go over our pros for The Trial of the Chicago 7. Now, one of those top pros for me was the subject nature. So you pretty much have a lot of back and forth flashbacks, he said, she said, but we got to see some of the first accounts in flashback form of the accused 7 of, starting riots. Who started it first, them or the police? Were they there for peaceful protest or out for blood? So I actually like, when people are being accused and wrongfully accused, how our judicial system is going to handle that. So if you guys do like subject nature like that, I found it a bit interesting. That's what kind of kept me engaged and locked in, I guess, is, following this trial day by day, and it went over 100 days before we got our final, what they were convicted of or not convicted of at the end of the film. And I will say that I was entertained through and through with the storyline itself. Alright guys, now jumping to the next big pro of mine was the cast, and some of the castmates that did stand out for me was the character of Tom Hayden, played by Eddie Redmayne, and you guys have seen him in The Theory of Everything. He played Stephen Hawking in that film. So, I thought his performance was someone that was really subtle, try to play the clean-cut professional, more on the peaceful route, and I think that's what ended up helping his cause in the end. He was one of the Chicago 7, where everyone is pretty much there to make a change in possibly the most peaceful way possible, right? So, we see that sometimes when the government has that pushback of violence, it's hard to stay peaceful, and they dive really, really deep into that subject nature on this film. And I felt like he was a character that did keep his composure, very level-headed, even, when the pressure was on. And I really did enjoy his performance in this film. Now, next up was Abby Hoffman, played by Sacha Baron Cohen, and this man is fantastic. And he adds a little bit of the comic relief, a lot of the snarky comments. He plays a hippie, basically. I won't break down what yippie means. It is an acronym, and it is broken down and explain what their cause is about, as well as his friend Jerry Rubin, who's played by Jeremy Strong. I thought he did a fantastic job. I saw him more recently in The Gentleman this year, and I thought he did an excellent job in that movie as well. He's a character, an actor that I really definitely want to look forward to in the future for checking out his works. And they were those that were also going for a peaceful protest, but things happen. So this is where, once you're kind of set on a jury, you're hearing two sides of the story, and you have to realize that there is going to be pushback when they are approached, almost egged on by the police with force. They have weapons, as opposed to the people that are protesting there that don't have weapons. So it's one of those sticky situations that by the end, you kind of understand the, justification for for what they did, whether it was legal or not. There's a lot of morality kind of thrown and sprinkled in there. So you kind of make up your mind at the end of this film what, the final outcome was, if it was justified or not. You have Richard Schultz, who is played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and he's an actor that, in the last couple of movies that I saw him on, more notably 7500, I believe it was, on Amazon, where, he is someone in the cockpit being taken over by terrorists. I thought he didn't do the greatest job in that film, so I was kind of let down with that. So when I did see his performance in this, it was much more of a step up, though I thought he was underutilized, but I think he is a very clean-cut lawyer fit for this movie, and that's exactly what he plays. Someone on the opposing side of the trial for the 7. He's pretty much there letting it be known that they were the ones that provoked the police in this incident to fight back with violence. So it was interesting to see how morality kind of kicked in throughout the rest of the trial and how that possibly swayed him towards the end of the movie. Either way, I really do love Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and I think he's an actor that just matured over time, and I think we're going to see him, become better in his acting field as he gets more and more seasoned. And last but not least, Bobby Seale, played by Yahya Abdul-Mateen II. I thought he did a really good job, even though he has a shorter role in this. He was someone that was kind of thrown in with the 7, even though he did have a separate account that he was being charged for in whole nother state. But he was there with the Black Panther Party, so it was interesting seeing his tie in. And once again, underutilized characters. I know there's a lot of people to focus in on, but I would like to see a little more focus on his, involvement in all of this, as well as more of the Panther Party. I thought that part was a little more interesting than some of the things that we did focus on, but that's totally fine. I thought he did good with the screen time that he was given, and I think he's an actor that's definitely already well established, almost in a Jonathan Majors type of situation, as well as a John David Washington situation, where I think that they're kind of cemented as far as newcomers that are definitely on to great things. Okay, so for the pros, that's pretty much it. You have the central plot, which I did enjoy, which was interesting, and you have some of the stronger castmates sprinkled in with some of those that did a great job as well, but were kind of less shown on screen, less camera time is what I'm trying to say. Now let's jump to some of the cons, guys. Right out the gate, it is a lengthy and dry at times movie. Once again, this film is not going to be for everybody. You gotta be into A Few Good Men, and you gotta be into kind of some of these, NCSI, I guess, type of shows where they do focus on a lot of flashbacks and events that lead to the days of the trials, at hand. And even for someone that doesn't follow those shows, I was interested because you got to see a lot of the flashbacks. And once again, these are events in time that actually happened. They do talk about, Martin Luther King Jr. They talk about the Kennedys as well, them being assassinated, a lot of the war that was going on at that time. So all that is really, really interesting. So you got to be the type of person that is invested and is going to invest some time into a couple of hours of that subject nature. So that was the only kind of gripe that I had with it, guys. Really, no bad acting. I wasn't bored, at the slow times, though I can understand how some people will be. So because of that, guys, I would probably only trim off a little bit of the fat, maybe about 10 to 15 minutes to cut it a little shorter, a little underneath 2 hours, but that's totally fine, guys. So all of that being said, I will give my final review for The Trial of the Chicago 7 a solid 4 out of 5, saying I think it was very well shot, very well written. The characters were interesting and I engaged with all of their situations. And all of that being said, guys, I would definitely recommend it. It's one of the higher up Netflix movies, to me at least, that I've seen in quite a while. So definitely check out The Trial of the Chicago 7 today. All right, guys, have you seen the film yet? Let me know in the comments below your overall thoughts. And if you guys did appreciate my review on this, please hit that thumbs up and make sure you're hitting that subscribe and bell notification for more content like this. Till next video, guys, I'm gone. Peace.